So I remember in 2014, shortly after Robin's passing, I was looking up a lot of the movies of his that I had never seen, and I rented 1 Hour Photo from my local library and watched it and thought, wow, I am never gonna watch that movie again. And here we are. Hi friends, welcome back to my channel and my ongoing quest to review every single movie Robin Williams has ever made. This week we are hitting the Triptych of Evil that I have been excited about for quite some time. These are 3 back-to-back films in the early 2000s that Robin Williams made that are all a lot darker and more evil than his usual work. The first of those being 1 Hour Photo. Written and directed by Mark Romanek, this was his feature debut. He had previously done music videos for like 9 Inch Nails and Johnny Cash, and then he basically only did music videos after this. Like, he directed one other film. The reason that I say that I never wanted to watch 1 Hour Photo again is not because it's bad. I think 1 Hour Photo is a great film. It just is not a pleasant film. It's not a good time to watch. This movie stars Robin Williams as Cy Parrish, an isolated photo lab employee who becomes dangerously fixated on a family whose photo he has developed for 9 years. And when something happens that changes the way that he views that family, he goes on kind of a psychological bender. This is also the second time that Robin Williams has played someone with the last name Parrish, the first being Alan Parrish from Jumanji. This movie also stars Connie Nielsen, Michael Vartan, Gary Cole from Office Space, Eric LaSalle, Erin Daniels from The L Word. Her first nude scene ever is in this film, but then she would be nude many times on The L Word. Also Clark Gregg, who plays Phil Coulson in a lot of the Marvel properties. 1 Hour Photo is about this guy named Cy who has nothing in life other than his job where he is a photo tech, which that dates this movie so hard because this is not a film that would presumably be able to happen today. This family, the Yorkins, is a family of his regulars that he knows very well, and he is obsessed with their lives because he thinks they're this perfect family, and he has this huge wall in his home that is just covered with every single photo they've ever sent to him in like 9-10 years or so. It's horrifying. It's so creepy. But before we get into all that, this film is another film with a lot of interesting backgrounds. So Robin was excited to take on this project to cast aside the pressure that sort of came with being his usual manic and antic self, and to play someone who was so lacking in magnetism and so socially clueless. He said of the character, "They're no longer bound by the laws of likability. You have a character that can be so normal and banal in many ways that you no longer have to be charismatic." In order to film 1 Hour Photo, Robin trained for a couple days with a photo tech to learn how to cut and print film, as well as watch tapes of convicted serial killers and consulting with a psychiatrist. Jack Nicholson was approached to play the role of Cy Parrish first, but he turned it down because he thought it would be too similar to The Shining. Probably also because this was an independent film with a very low budget, and he was like, fuck that. Filming took place inside of a closed-down Office Depot. For the role of Cy Parrish, to make him a little bit more unrecognizable, obviously Robin is blonde in this film. They also thinned his hair and cut back his hairline a bit. If you've seen his episode of Whose Line Is It Anyway, which I want to talk about eventually because that episode basically changed the course of my life, but he shot that episode during the time he was filming this, which is why he's blonde in that. Robin's makeup artist Sherry Minns said that one of the earliest days of the shooting, they were walking to set and they passed like 2 or 3 people that didn't recognize him, and Robin started to panic, and everybody else that he passed, he was basically trying to go out of his way to make them be like, oh, that's Robin Williams. She said he was doing everything short of basically saying, hi, how are you, I'm Robin Williams. Robin was a big fan of Neon Genesis Evangelion and specifically asked this model toy that is part of the plot to be included. It was also a toy that was supposedly from his personal collection. He liked to pull pranks on set just to keep it fun and fresh. Obviously because if you actually watch this film, it hits so heavy on you, and especially as being a person who knows what Robin Williams is, seeing him do a role like this it's heavy and it's difficult. It's a difficult and stressful watch. This film is eerie as fuck from frame one. Just like the way that the music is and the way that the cinematography is. There's a lot of really brilliant directorial choices here, which is why I think it is such a shame that this guy never really did anything else besides direct the music video for Shake It Off by Taylor Swift, which is one that he did. At one point there's a shot of the family brings in a photo roll to develop and they still have a picture left, so Cy takes a picture of himself because he's like, wouldn't want to waste it. And they get the photos developed, they bring the photo home, the husband's like, who's that? Cy, the photo guy, whatever. They toss it on the table and it lands right next to this fortune cookie fortune that says somebody wants you to be happy. The tone is so clear. This is one of the only films I've seen that uses narration in a good way. and consistently enough that it's a good choice. Cy narrates the film and gives a lot of facts about photography and a lot of insights on photography, which not only gives a great insight to the character to show you that his whole world is this and he has nothing else, it also gives you that perfect, like, creepy overtone in some of the places. The score is very effective, the cinematography is very effective, there's a couple of dream sequences that are actually very effective as well. This is a film that completely challenges your notions of what Robin Williams was capable of, because he is so good in this. Like, it's scary how good he is in this. Obviously, Cy Parrish has no idea how to be social, but he tries to be nice and go out of his way to be nice to his family. And you hurt for him, but you're also so scared of him at the same time. And he does a perfect job of portraying that, like, creepy guy that you want to be nice to because you know he's not going to do anything wrong yet. It builds and builds on his crazy. Like, there's little details that are just, God, like, this is not a film that I want to watch again, but it is a film that I think is very, very, very good. At the very beginning of the film, Cy is being booked and arrested, and it pulls up his height and it says he's 5'9", which is funny because Robin Williams was 5'7". This movie has, like, stuck with me for so many years because every so often when I send in photos to be, like, printed at Walgreens, I'm like, ew, like, I hope these people aren't, like, looking through my shit. And, like, I don't know, like, he does a lot of stuff that is so innocent, but at the same time is horrifying when you really think about it. Like, the family, the Yorkins, come in to drop off some film at the beginning of the movie, and another coworker is out in the front, and he asks what their address is, and Robin comes out from the back room and just recites their address. That is so horrifying. And they don't think anything of it because they're just like, oh, he's our regular guy, we've been seeing him for 10 years. Which, like, yes, sure, but he just knows that fucking address, like. And the way that he interacts with the child specifically, because he knows that the child doesn't know any better. Like, the child thinks that everything he's doing is completely innocent. He approaches the child at soccer practice. That is horrifying. God! It's a wonderful character study. It makes so much sense that this director was inspired so heavily by, like, Taxi Driver, because it's such a good and intricate character study. You know that this character's actions are wrong, but you still feel for him at the same time, and you feel for the family as well, because the husband is an asshole and he's, like, yelling about money from the comfort of this rich ass nice house. I don't want to give too much away because I do want to recommend this film, and I want to recommend that if this is something that sounds up your alley, please watch it, because it will completely change the way that you see Robin Williams and what he was capable of. Like, when I watched this for the first time, I think that's why it made me feel so gross, because I had this notion of Robin for so long, and this challenged all of it, but, like, he was so fucking talented. And this performance was universally acclaimed as well. The ending is such a surprise, so I really am just trying not to give anything away because there's so many moments that just build on each other so well. I guess final thoughts, like, it's a very well acted, very well shot, very, very well done film. It's very intense, like a nice slow paced thriller with a very, very, very scary Robin Williams performance. When 1 Hour Photo premiered at the 2002 Sundance Festival, most of the audience members said that they forgot in the first 15 minutes that it was even Robin Williams in the part. Because it does barely look like him, but this is also just so unlike anything he had ever done before. And I'm gonna go out on a limb, I'm not sure yet, but I do think that this is probably the darkest film that he ever did. The film was generally praised, has like an 81% on Rotten Tomatoes. It grossed $52 million on a $12 million budget, which is also kind of impressive for a film like this. Robin's performance was universally praised by everyone. Roger Ebert loved his performance in this, which, as if you know, if you've been following the series, Roger Ebert kind of has a complicated relationship with Robin Williams' standout performances. Even the critics who weren't as keen on the rest of the film said that Robin's performance in this makes it a film that is impossible to ignore. One critic wrote that Robin is so good here that it's almost painful to watch, and that when he is in a serious role like this, he trusts the audience more than when he's doing comedy, so it's almost more effective. He did win a Saturn Award for Best Actor in this as well. I just can't say enough. Like, it is a chilling film. It's such an interesting change of pace. It is an incredible, incredible Robin performance. I don't think that I want to watch this again. I might watch it again just to revisit it because I don't feel as nasty as I did the first time that I watched it, but it is definitely a film that sticks with you and changes the way that you think about a lot of things. And I think if I had seen this when it had first come out and photo developing was more of a thing like that, I would have been really, really scared. 1 Hour Photo is available to stream on HBO Max through Hulu and Prime as well if you have an HBO Max subscription. If you don't, you can rent it in all the usual places. Next week, I'm continuing the Triptych of Evil with probably my favorite film out of the 3, Danny DeVito's dark comedy, Death to Smoochie. I'm bringing a special guest on for that. That's going to be a really good time. I'm excited as hell to talk about that one. Smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, and start thinking about what people are looking at every photo that you take to get developed at a Walgreens, if you do. Because I certainly am.